Are you sure I... So, Queen Nora is to marry another son of Merrick, is she? That's what I've heard on the road, anyway. I'm sure... Something you need? I'm... If there's any... You and your... Something... You are good to your troops, Warden.
What comes, my friend? So, full of questions. I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's. taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to Oh? I truly doubt that children would be worth the effort. They are filthy, smelly things full of tears and snot and trouble. That said, I cannot speak for the Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know? The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess. No, 'tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear. Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination? A most practical opinion. But enough of such talk. What comes, my friend? So, full of questions, are you?
Your wish? Whatever you'd like to ask.
Did you want something? Honora always did have a flair for the dramatic. She could have been a bard. It's a foolish question. I'm sure you think me capable of every sort of evil, but Honora is my only child. Is that a serious question? Is there someone else you know of who could stand up to the land's meat? But enough about Honora. We ought to get moving. Of course. Did you want something? So far as anyone could tell, she was the undisputed monarch of the whole world. She'd fall, skin her knees, and command them to stop stinging. It may have worked, too. I suppose she was. It's the peculiar joy of parents to be terrorized by their children, however. If you're expecting some particular insight into my daughter's character, I'm afraid I'm probably not the best source. I'm hardly impartial. I think you already know the answer to that. But this is not really the time or place to discuss my daughter. We have... Very well, then. I suppose that depends on how much of the kingdom was left by then. Once the border was secure, the army would have regrouped to push back the Darkspawn in the south. We couldn't, especially after Ostagar. It wasn't an ideal plan, but it seemed necessary at the time. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
Are you sure?
Thanks. 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 Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks.
I'm to keep this, am I? Fine.
Most kind.
Thanks.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised at your success. You beat me. Perhaps you can do this after all. Nothing. Don't mind me. Do you want something? I suppose I have a moment. Eamon is a shrewd man. He'll be advising the boy. They'll do all right, I suppose. I was trying to be polite. Your friend may get good advice from Eamon, but he's weak. The first chance they get, they'll pry concessions out of him. They'll pick at the throne until it's only a gilded chair with no power or authority. By all means, hope for some better outcome. I certainly shall. I just won't expect it. By all means. Honora is a good queen. She has been for 5 years now. Whatever she might think, I never took power from Honora. She may have felt threatened, but I most pointedly did not remove her from the throne. In all seriousness, Honora is formidable. You should know that by now. They always have before. Few among the nobles have ever been under any illusions as to who really held power in Denerim. Honora is strong enough to endure. She may make a few mistakes along the way, but she'll survive them. But this isn't the time to discuss such things. By all means. Hate doesn't describe it. I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why. Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate? The past is always with us. It's in our bones and our blood, and we wear it on our skin. You can think otherwise, but you'll never get far without it. Should I? How do you give up what's grown into you? In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do. Of course. Do you want something? He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge. There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. And there are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Merrick was remarkable. That's all I can say of him. I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out of the woods. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp. Yes. I didn't find out who he was for a while, though. But I've rattled on for too long already. He nearly did. Merrick was never one to avoid his duty. And given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question. So Merrick made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that. Kings don't get the luxury of escaping politics. But we've been idle long enough. We should get... Go ahead. Of course.
What's on your mind? I will answer to...
I am listening. I feel I owe it. And no doubt.
Something you need?